The woman my husband always loved and I were both poisoned by kidnappers. He held the only antidote. He chose her. I was the one who spent a year in a coma. When I finally woke up, his first words to me weren't, "I'm so glad you're back," or "I missed you." They were, "We need a divorce. Claire's pregnant." I looked at this stranger, this cruel man I supposedly married, and asked the only question that came to my mind. "I'm sorry, who are you?" The fact that I woke up at all was, according to the doctors, a miracle. They used that exact word, a medical miracle. A parade of specialists, titans in their fields, cycled through my room, running tests, peering into my eyes, and murmuring in disbelief as they confirmed my vital functions were returning. According to their charts, I should have been a ghost in a machine for the rest of my life. A permanent resident of that silent twilight country, between living and dying. In the 2 months of grueling physical therapy that followed, my parents visited me exactly once. There was no joy on their faces, no tearful relief. Instead, they cornered a doctor in the hallway and asked with hushed urgency if I could still get pregnant. When the doctor confirmed that I could, their expressions curdled into something ugly and disappointed. They never came back after that. I thought I should feel the cold sting of heartbreak, but there was nothing. A person who has already lost all hope has no room for such luxuries. My brother Leo came to pick me up on the day of my discharge. "Claire's been having a rough time," he started, his eyes fixed on the road. "Her heart's been acting up, the stress of it all. So, don't be mad at Mom and Dad for not visiting more. You know how fragile she's always been." He trailed off, noticing the blankness of my expression. He mistook my apathy for a silent protest, and his voice hardened with impatience. "For God's sake, Ava, can you just for once not be jealous of your own sister?" His volume spiked, and I flinched, genuinely confused. "What?" "Sorry, I was watching that dog. Look at it, crying its eyes out. It's ridiculous." On the sidewalk, a husky the size of a small person was howling. A crowd of laughing onlookers gathered around it. I couldn't have cared less about what Leo was saying. He realized he'd misread the situation but offered no apology. He just plowed ahead. "Claire's health isn't great. She's been under a lot of stress this past year. So when you get home, just try not to start anything with her, okay?" I cut him off before he could finish. The condescending tone in his voice was like sandpaper on my nerves, and I just wanted him to shut up. His brow furrowed again. "What are you planning now?" I met his gaze in the rearview mirror. "Why would you ask me that?" He opened his mouth, then closed it, lost for words. "You know what? Maybe don't come home just yet," he finally said, sighing. Claire moved back in for a bit. "The Prescott's house has plenty of space. You should go there. You and Carter need to talk. If it's really over between you two, just end it properly." I just stared, a complete blank. Just then, a sharp rap on the window made me jump. It was Carter Prescott, a man I'd known practically my whole life. Leo got out of the car. I saw their mouths moving, a brief, tense exchange. Then Leo opened my door. "Good. Carter's here for you," he said, all false brightness. "You should go with him. Whatever is going on between you two, you need to sort it out yourselves." Carter, however, looked like he had zero patience for a long conversation. He got straight to the point. "We need a divorce. Claire's pregnant." I blinked. Maybe he expected hysterics, a screaming match, sobbing, the kind of raw, messy scene he was clearly bracing for. But I just felt nothing. A strange detachment, as if I were listening to gossip about a stranger. The coldness in Carter's eyes intensified. "Look, I know I owe you," he said, his voice clipped. "Name your terms for the divorce. Anything you want within reason, it's yours." "I'm sorry," I said, my voice laced with genuine confusion. "Who are you? Are you my husband? That's impossible. I have a boyfriend. His name is Ethan." I was starting to get angry now. This wasn't funny, not at all. I was in love with someone. Ethan was kind, he was gentle, he was everything this cold, arrogant stranger in front of me was not. Carter's face darkened, his jaw clenching. "Ava, don't test me. Marrying you was a mistake from the start. It's always been Claire. If you had any self-respect, you would have stepped aside the moment she came back. This whole mess, you getting targeted by those criminals, it all happened because you wouldn't let go." Crack. The sound of my hand connecting with his cheek echoed in the quiet parking lot. "Are you out of your mind?" I yelled, my voice shaking with rage. "I told you I have a boyfriend. What the hell are you talking about? If he hears this and gets the wrong idea, I swear I will make you regret it." 5 red finger marks bloomed on Carter's face. He stared at me, utterly stunned. Leo was just as shocked, his eyes wide with disbelief. They exchanged a look, a silent, frantic communication, and then they were both grabbing my arms, dragging me back into the hospital. After a battery of tests, the doctors found nothing physically wrong. Their best guess was that the long coma had caused some kind of selective amnesia. It was, they said, not unheard of for trauma patients to lose memories of certain people or events. But that was the strange part. I remembered everything else. My childhood, my friends, my life. Everything except being married to Carter Prescott. Back in the parking lot, I stared him down. "First of all," I said, enunciating each word with precision, "I don't like you, so don't flatter yourself. Second, the courthouse is still open. Let's go get that divorce right now. And third, get the hell out of my life." Leo had never seen me speak to Carter with such venom. He was used to the old Ava, the one who would blush at the mere mention of Carter's name. This was like seeing a different person entirely. He leaned in, whispering, "Don't do this, Ava. What if you remember everything later? You'll regret this." I looked at my brother, my gaze flat and unwavering. "I won't." He tried to argue, but I cut him off. "If I divorce him, Claire gets to go from being the mistress to the new Mrs. Prescott. If you keep pushing, I might just remember everything. And then where would your precious Claire be?" Leo's face flushed with anger. "That's your sister. How can you talk about her like that? You're the ones who told me I'm married to this man," I shot back. "While I was in a coma, Claire got pregnant with his child. That makes her the other woman. Does basic morality mean nothing to you people? And another thing," I continued, my voice rising. "I'm your sister too. In the months I was in rehab, I didn't see you once. Mom and Dad showed up for 5 minutes to ask the doctor if I was still fertile. I wondered why they'd ask that. But now it all makes sense. They already knew Claire was pregnant. If I couldn't have children, they would have had the perfect excuse to pressure me into a quiet, graceful exit." Carter's expression shifted. The aggressive certainty was gone, replaced by a flicker of doubt. "You really don't remember?" he asked, his voice low. "If this is some new game to get my attention?" I couldn't help it. I rolled my eyes with theatrical disgust. "You're not as handsome as Ethan, and you're certainly not as kind. Why on earth would I choose you? At this point, I'm starting to doubt this whole marriage story. Has my taste really gotten so bad that I'd end up with a piece of work like you? Fire seemed to ignite in Carter's eyes. You were the one who chased me across the world, he snarled. You bent over backwards to win over my family. I never would have married you if Claire hadn't left the country. I shook my head, a reflexive denial. Impossible. I would never be that pathetic. Comparing you to Ethan is like, he was filet mignon and your gas station jerky. If I was going to humiliate myself chasing after a man, it would have been him, never you. Seeing me repeatedly deny our past, treating him like something I'd scraped off my shoe, sent Carter into a rage. He looked like he wanted to devour me whole. Whatever, I said, waving a dismissive hand. If we were really married, let's just go get the divorce. It's not a big deal. The clerk's office is open for at least another 2 hours. It's Saturday, he bit out. So, no divorce today. Leo abandoned me, leaving me in Carter's care before speeding off. A part of me was morbidly curious about this lost chapter of my life, so I agreed to go back with him. The moment I stepped into the Prescott villa, a wave of profound discomfort washed over me. Every cell in my body screamed in protest. I took a step back. I think I'll get a hotel. This place, it feels haunted. Carter turned, glaring at me. I told you, don't test my patience. Before he could finish, I was already 5 yards down the driveway. He caught up in 3 long strides, his fingers clamping around my wrist. His face was a mask of fury. Are you incapable of understanding English? That did it. I ripped my arm from his grasp. You say this is my home, I sneered. So why doesn't it feel like one? Why do my brain and my body both reject the very idea of setting foot inside? Are you even my husband? Or is this some sick lie you and my brother cooked up? What do you want from me? I was genuinely suspicious now. Leo never liked me. It wasn't a stretch to think he could have sold me to this man. For what purpose, I couldn't imagine. Carter fell silent. His silence was all the confirmation I needed. I drove my foot into his thigh, hard. As he buckled in pain, I ran. Once I was clear of the gated community, I called my best friend Maya. When she heard my voice, she booked the next flight. At midnight, I was huddled by a trash can, exhausted and starving, when Maya finally arrived. We just held each other and cried. The reunion was punctuated only by the loud, pathetic grumbling of my stomach. We checked into a hotel. As I devoured a club sandwich and recounted the sins of my heartless family and my supposed husband, Maya sat across from me, her jaw on the floor. Why do you look so surprised? I asked, mouth full. Is Carter Prescott really my husband? Maya nodded furiously. You chased him for over a decade, Ava. You were his loyal shadow? You don't remember any of it? Faint, hazy images flickered at the edge of my mind. But didn't I get together with Ethan in college? I'm not a cheater. Even if I used to have a crush on Carter, I would never have betrayed Ethan to be with him. Maya's mouth opened, then closed. Her eyes grew red-rimmed. It seems you've forgotten a lot. She pulled me into a hug. Waking up is what matters. A year ago, you and Claire were both kidnapped, poisoned. And that psychopath Carter, knowing damn well the whole thing might have been staged by Claire, gave the only antidote to her. You became a vegetable, Ava. It's a miracle you're here. Your guardian angel must have been working overtime. She tried for a joke, but her voice broke and the tears started again. Just forgetting things. Maybe it's for the best. It can only be a good thing for you. I nodded against her shoulder. I'm divorcing him. Maya stroked my hair. Good. Do it now, before you remember anything else. That man doesn't deserve a second of your time. She was terrified that if my memory returned, I'd go right back to chasing him. Even if I remember, I'm done, I said, my voice hard. Claire is pregnant. They had a baby while I was lying in a hospital bed. They're disgusting. Hearing the pure contempt in my voice, Maya let out a long, shaky breath. If I'd known amnesia would turn you into this badass, I would have hired a hypnotist years ago to make you forget him. Was I really that in love with him? I asked, the idea seeming utterly alien. Maya gave a sad smile. It wasn't love, sweetie. It was an obsession. She changed the subject then, clearly unwilling to dredge up painful memories that might trigger a full return. The next afternoon, I woke to the sound of shouting. Before my eyes were even open, I could hear Maya's furious voice. The absolute nerve of you! You shameless bitch, sleeping with your own sister's husband, getting pregnant. You make me sick. You're trash. Oh, don't you dare play dead with me. There are cameras in this hallway. I haven't laid a finger on you. Don't you try to frame me. For all we know, that baby isn't even Carter's. Maya's voice grew louder, more frantic. I scrambled out of bed. In the doorway stood Claire, draped in a white dress, looking pale and fragile. Next to her was my brother Leo. As Maya's insults hit their mark, Leo lunged forward and wrapped his hand around her throat. Seeing that, a primal rage erupted in me. I shot across the room and punched my brother square in the eye. He cried out in pain, stumbling back and letting go of Maya, his hands flying to his face. Maya collapsed against the doorframe, coughing and gasping for air. I pushed her behind me, turning on Leo. What the hell are you doing here? I screamed. Trying to commit murder? Get out! Suddenly, Claire sank to her knees in front of me, tears streaming down her perfect face. Ava, why does everyone blame me? She sobbed. Carter has only ever loved me. You took advantage of me being overseas, you tricked him into marrying you, and a year ago, you used the kidnapping to hurt yourself, just to avoid divorcing him. You're the one who's wrong in all of this. Before she could finish, a crisp slap silenced her. It was followed by 2 more, just as loud, catching her completely by surprise. I'd hit her 3 times. My palm was stinging. Wow, I said, shaking my hand out. Your face is so thick it actually hurts to slap it. Behind me, Maya started clapping enthusiastically. Yes, baby, you're amazing! I shot Maya a look, a silent command. She understood immediately, and ducked back into the room to get her phone. Leo, having recovered, saw Claire's red cheek and roared, Ava, are you trying to die? How dare you hit Claire? She's our sister.